Welcome back, grade 10 science! Today we'll be talking about the cell and its structures, or commonly known as the organelles. So let's start out by asking, what is the cell? Well, the cell is the fundamental, structural, and functional unit of all life. Now, there are two main types of cells, prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells, but we'll be focusing mostly on the eukaryotic cells. Before we begin, I would like to let you know that I've shared a document with you in the description of this video that you can use to follow along during our lesson. There are 4 total pages in this document. The first and second pages has an empty space so that you can draw the animal cell and the plant cell as I'm drawing them. The third and fourth page has a comparison chart which you can use to write down all the different functions of these organelles and whether they belong to a plant or animal cell or both. There's also a final column for the restaurant analogy that will help you conceptualize the different functions of each organelle. Let's start with the plant cell. Draw 2 inner rectangles and draw 1 outer rectangle as our basic structure. Let's start with the nucleus. The nucleus is responsible for storing DNA and controls all activities of the cell, like a restaurant manager who controls all the operations in a restaurant. Next, we have the cell membrane. It determines which substances can leave or enter the cell safely, like the host or hostess of a restaurant. They welcome you, but they have the power to determine who can enter and who can leave. Next up is the mitochondrion. It produces ATP, the main energy source of the cell. It's like a power generator of a restaurant. Every restaurant needs electricity and power to keep its normal operations running smoothly. Those little dots I'm drawing here, they're ribosomes. They synthesize proteins by assembling amino acids together. It's like the machinery we see inside a restaurant kitchen that's used to assemble ingredients together to synthesize the food we eat. The next organelle is the endoplasmic reticulum, or the ER as I will shorten it. There are 2 types of ER, the smooth ER and the rough ER. Let's start with the smooth ER. It does not have any ribosomes, making it smooth. It synthesizes lipids and carbohydrates that make up the cell membrane. It also produces enzymes in the liver and transports vesicles. On the other hand, the rough ER does have ribosomes, making it rough. It manufactures proteins, antibodies, and insulin, and transport proteins into the other ER, the smooth ER. The endoplasmic reticulum is like a kitchen in a restaurant. There are many activities that happen inside the kitchen, such as food being cooked, food being packaged, and food being delivered. In both the smooth ER and the rough ER, all sorts of synthesis and transportation also happens. Next, we have the Golgi apparatus. It manufactures, stores, then transport proteins that come from the endoplasmic reticulum to other parts of the cell. It's like the chefs and servers in a kitchen. The chefs cook the food, they store it if necessary, while the servers will take the food and deliver it to the customers. The next 3 organelles can only be found in a plant cell. You won't be able to find them in an animal cell. The first one is the vacuole. It's basically like a fridge in a restaurant because it stores water, but it also maintains the shape of the cell. Next are the chloroplasts. They're responsible for photosynthesis, not unlike the solar panels we would see in a restaurant that uses sunlight as a source of energy. Last but not least, we have the cell wall. The cell wall supports and strengthens the plant cell, like the walls of a restaurant that supports the building and strengthens the foundation. In the next part, I've already pre-drawn the animal cell because it shares many of the same organelles in the plant cell, with the exception of the vacuole, the chloroplasts, and the cell wall. However, the animal cell does have another organelle that is unique to the animal cell, and we will be discussing it now. In an animal cell, we have the lysosome, an organelle that digests wastes. Imagine it like a garbage can. Restaurants remove waste by putting it into the garbage so it can be destroyed eventually. Thanks for watching, class. I hope you were able to fill out your document as you watch this, and I'll see you for our next lesson.